after the DUI guy stuff, I did a video that was not about legal bites. It was not about legal bites. It started out, I was going to do a video about legal bites. And if you remember that stream, I think it starts at 57 minutes into the stream. I'm going to have Ryan clip it because I want that video. I want that fucker up on my YouTube. I want the proof of what happened in that stream because it has been misrepresented. And I don't like being misrepresented. I tell you the fucking truth. So tell the truth about me. That's it. It's really simple. It's really easy. If you don't know, some shit happened today. Some shit happened today. Now, I have heard that there's some stuff going on with this. Let's try and get the latest information, shall we? Shall we? Oh, shit. Here we go. Here we go again. Do you guys want to do this? I don't know how much of this we're going to do. We'll start this up. This is probably not going to be what anybody thinks it's going to be for me, but we'll see.
All right. And I think we're live. So.
Yeah, you can see it.
Many people that I have talked to in the last, I don't know how many hours, who have advised me not to say or do anything. Or if I do, to do something in a very, very, very closely guarded kind of way.
So, look, whatever I say today is not directed at legal bites as a person. Okay. So I want to make that very clear. I think Alita is fine and a wonderful person. That's an uncharitable pause. Just like she's just looking down. So here we go. She made a big blunder today, in my opinion. And it's been a mess. And now she's in a really tough position. People advising her to not say anything are probably right. But she's going to do what people are not advising her to do, which is also probably right because you can't always listen to advice. She has this is a no-win prospect for her. And I don't know if anybody has seen, but she took a pretty sizable subscriber hit today. Lots of people have unsubscribed. Thousands of people have unsubscribed because of this incident. And we're going to talk about avoiding these types of incidents and navigating this water because this shouldn't have ever happened. That's the main lesson here. And it's not her fault that this happened entirely. She is responsible for her own decisions. Don't get me wrong, but there is something else going on in this space that we're going to get into. And I'm going to try and tell you why you need to run from this shit like the fucking plague has manifested into a Disney villain. And by Disney villain, I mean a Disney exec on set with liquor, suckers, and an eye for children. You need to run as far away from this shit as possible.
I'm not really sure exactly how I am where I am right now, but I guess the first thing that I want to do is to say that today I came to realize that I've said some things in a couple different ways that have come across in a way that is not the way that I intended and clearly not received well. And I understand why some things have not been received well.
You never want to be making this video. I don't know how much of this I'm going to watch. I don't want to watch all 17 minutes.
I don't have any excuses for the way that I've come across to some people. But the one thing that I would request if people will allow me, is a little bit of space to explain things from my perspective, because I feel like there's been a lot of communication from other people. I don't know. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I the last
No, I know how. I'm not laughing at her. I know how she feels. What are you supposed to do? What the hell are you supposed to do? The building's on fire. Now, this is probably an overcorrection from an overreaction. And the building being on fire is probably not going to be on fire very long. But this is part of a lot. And Alita received a lot of success very quickly. So let me give you the background story of what happened today and why this is even a thing, why this is even going on. Okay. So the big background story is this. There's this ethereal entity called LawTube that was sort of birthed during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. It is colloquially called LawTube, but here's the thing. There is not a formal LawTube. So this comes with pitfalls and benefits. There's no formality to it. So LawTube is whatever anybody thinks LawTube is. That's kind of the way things should be. But once you lay out concretely what LawTube is, you start drawing pictures, you start incorporating names, you start making lists, and you start adopting those things, then you have a defined being. Now you've created a thing, and that thing has a name, has parameters, has rules, and you have suddenly created an in-group situation. This is a horrific pitfall of any grassroots movement. Look directly at Black Lives Matter and Antifa. When Black Lives Matter and Antifa are nebulous, undefinable things, they're stronger. When Black Lives Matter becomes definable, its founders take money and leave. There's tax implications. There's investigations by authorities into what's going on. If you don't have a leadership structure because you don't have an organization, then you don't have anywhere to look, because what is this thing if it's not defined? It's just this idea or concept. You can't attack an idea or concept because the next person doesn't know what it's the same thing. So anyway, there's this ethereal idea that's created around Rittenhouse, colloquially called LawTube. And it comes out of probably my stream and eventually having about 9 to 10 people on with regularity, which in hindsight, I think was too many people to be on a show at once. That's my personal opinion, but that's where it starts. And so there's 9 to 10 people on the show at any given moment, but you have a roster about, 15 maybe deep, right? Makes sense. You got a couple extra people because not everybody's going to be on all the time. So you have this thing that's created and you've got a group, and that group is a group of individuals. In LawTube's case, it's a bunch of individual creators. There's no structure. There's no profit sharing. There's no fee arrangements that I know of. And I won't do them. Like if you are, if someone wants to come on my show, or if I want to have them on my show, I'm going to invite them on my show and they can come on. I'm not going to pay them to be there. And I would never ask an appearance fee to be anywhere else. I don't want to share of anything. I don't want to cut. I don't want to do that. That's not how social media network marketing works. Your payment is exposure. it's exposure to an audience of different eyes, or it's goodwill towards existing eyes. So let's say, someone used, wrong word, someone acquired a portion of audience because uh, they came up and your audience likes them also. And so there's a lot of crossover, right? Well, you still go on shows because it's serving the community. It's engaging people with content creators that they want to see. So even if you're not courting some new audience, you're hanging out with the people who already like you. This is good. This is just good work. You're not always seeking a new audience. If you are, you're a cable company and everybody hates you, right? So you hang out with the people who you hang out with normally, even if it's somewhere else, and then you also go on other shows and have other people come on. It's just how this thing works. There's not like a bunch of fees in my experience. There's not a bunch of fees or payments, and if I ask someone to come on the show, if they want to come on the show and they say, well, I'll come on for X amount of dollars, 99.99% of the time I'd say, I'll just do the show alone. I don't care. Like I do the show alone all the time. I'm good with that. Like I bring on interviews because I'm kind of interested in them, but I don't need to. I'm certainly fine hearing myself talk. That's the narcissism. So you have this group of individuals who do this stuff for themselves. And to me, that is where things should be. Because once you start to concrete things down into a discernible idea that everybody kind of agrees on and you adopt, you get what happens. So that's the important background from far away. Now, fast forward to recently. Johnny Depp trial has been on. We're in week 6, the final week of the trial. We've now gone through the final day of testimony. There's 1 day left. 1 day left. And after all this time, there have been 3 predominant streamers. Emily Baker is kicking all of our asses and taking names. She's doing great. She is streaming solo, from my understanding. Then there is Legal Bites, who has generally had the second highest viewer numbers and the second highest super chat numbers of the top 3, so to speak, the main 3. And she has been having lots of the quote unquote law tube panel on each day. And then there's me coming up in third most of the time on viewers and pretty much all the time on super chats, which is not a complaint in any way, by the way. This has been 2 of the best months I've ever had on YouTube. And I am sitting so happy that there's no, before anybody accuses me of any jealousy, I'm just laying out the facts of where all this is. And I have been running a show with somewhere in the middle. Typically, I have between 1 and 3 other guests on. So me plus 1 to 3 for most of the trial. And I found that to be a pretty happy medium for me. I like it. I like that number. I think for what I'm doing and how I'm watching this trial, it's a nice, well-facilitated number. But the cool thing is there are 3 big options that people can go, and then there are subsets down from there. But there have been these 3. And the idea about LawTube has really coalesced, however, in the middle around Legal Bites' show. All right. And she's bringing on new lawyers and new people, which is great. And Emily Baker is certainly considered as a member of LawTube by many, many people, right? And I am certainly considered a member of LawTube by many, many people, no matter how much I hate the moniker. But really, that coalesced core right now is on Legal Bites' channel. And there's been some drama about that from viewers who probably didn't hear the multiple times it was explained. So I'll do that now. So again, there's no confusion here. But throughout the whole trial, from the beginning, Alita and I talked about streaming this case. She said she wanted to do it. I said I was going to stream it on my channel, but I had no interest in like taking the panel or fighting over the panel or anything. And I have consistently encouraged people to participate in her stream. And then if they want to pop over to mine, great, cool. No need to do that. But if you want to, fine. I'm going to be streaming. If you want to say hi, come say hi. And I am 100% okay with that. That's how, and that's how we kind of have organized this. Now, some people thought that that meant that she was stealing people. And I've tried to explain over and over. That's not the case at all in this situation. And there's no animus or malice there. Okay. So to be very clear on that is, again, I'm going to tread through this carefully because this isn't about individual people. And that's what's at the core of this message. There's one individual involved in your success navigating social network business, and that's you. It's your name, brand, and business is always you at the end of the day. It's your ass hanging on your words. It's the only time ass to mouth is appropriate because it's your ass hanging from your mouth. And so whatever else you do, where you put yourself is where your ass ends up. And that's on you. So that's the critical thing. So again, everybody else in this is incidental to what I'm saying. And so even though there are people in particular situations, it's not about these individual people, because this will happen 100% of the time. 100% of the time, this will happen in an online community where money gets involved. 100. Okay? Run from them. Run from online communities when money is involved. Okay, so the specifics of what happened today are: yesterday, time zones make this weird, but yesterday during court proceedings, right, there was a moment with a TMZ reporter and Elaine, the lawyer, where Elaine accused the TMZ reporter of seeking his 15 minutes of fame by coming and testifying for Johnny Depp. And he said, I could accuse you of the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client. It was a mic drop, taiko drum power move moment. And everybody reacted the same way. Oh shit. Like, it was the oh shit moment. It was beautiful. Is exactly the thing. It's like that's the dramatic, tension breaking punch to the fucking mouth that you want in a trial. That's exactly it. It was great. It's exactly what you want to see. It was so good. Such a good moment that everybody reacts. Even like Elaine is sitting there with this look on her face. It wasn't anger. It was like, oh, I got my ass kicked. It was perfect. Now, over her shoulder on the camera was this guy, this shoulder, DUI guy. This shoulder, James from court. Two people who've been sacrificing a ton of their time to go into this, to stand in lines overnight and then to go into court. Now, they've been getting rewarded. DUI guy hit 200,000 subs today. I think 204,000, something like that. Subs today. James from court has built a Twitter account that has, well over 30,000 followers out of literally nothing. So they've gotten something out of it, but they are still doing something that's really fucking unpalatable, which is going and waiting in line and not coming out with like an iPhone or something, right? Like, they're not going home to play Battlefield after standing in line overnight. They're going into a fucking courtroom to sit for 9 hours and be bored. So they've built something out of it. They've been doing this. And when those reactions came out, that alerted some people in this LawTube community. it didn't sit well with them. Now, personally, I don't think there's anything at all, anything at all that was wrong with their reactions. I don't, there's nothing, there's no damage to integrity. There's nothing that James and DUI guy did that has anything different than literally everybody in the courtroom. And I think making any deal over it is just nonsensical. That's my personal opinion. So with that, Alita for sure, and then I believe a couple other people. I'm not entirely sure on this, so forgive me if I misname someone, but I believe it was Kurt and Hoglaw, all three of whom I like very much. Believed that was maybe below the stature of a lawyer, and Law and Lumber may have been involved in that too. I'm not. Was it Hogan and Rob? It was Rob and Hogue, not Kurt and Hogue. Okay, so Rob and Hogue. Again, it's not about the individuals, right? It's not about the individuals. And please do not jump on these people. They are allowed to have an opinion about something. They are allowed to have an opinion that things should be a specific way. Okay? It's about what happened next. That is the problem. All of them are allowed to say, not really comfortable with that kind of reaction in court or whatever. But a step further was taken, and DUI guy and I believe James were excluded from participating in the Legal Bites live stream. Now, I don't know, because it's become this LawTube center for this trial, if the Legal Bites live stream is Legal Bites or if it's LawTube on Legal Bites. I don't know. And that's, to me, that's a problem, right? Like, so is it LawTube on this channel, or is it Legal Bites plus people joining her? Which one is it? And I dare you to answer the question. I don't know if you can, which is another problem. Okay, so whatever reason, DUI guy was excluded from this show because of his reaction. And then Legal Bites said some words akin to, this is not a verbatim quote, but it's pretty damn close. When we send lawyers to a courtroom, we expect something better, more professional. I'm not sure where it goes, but the focus became from the external community, from everybody watching, focused in on these we words, we. So suddenly, and DUI guys seem to take umbrage with that, because he's like, wait, no one sent me to court. I chose to go to court. That was my thing to do. I'm doing my thing. And lawyers are oftentimes not like alpha male, beta male, alpha personalities in the traditional sense, not in the sense of masculinity, femininity, but in the assertive, self-interested, self-driven sense. You could call us narcissistic assholes because it's usually true. So DUI is like, wait, I do my own shit. Fuck you type thing. And this blows up into this nasty fucking mess between DUI guy and Legal Bites. But more importantly, it's like the viewers who are watching this are sectioning off and fighting about it. I mean, there are Reddit threads about this that call me the Pope of LawTube, whatever the fuck that even means. There's all sorts of weird stuff going on in this case, or in this instance, but it clearly struck chords with people. Now, as for me, my policy has pretty much always been, I don't disassociate with anybody until they disassociate with me. If they disassociate with me, Okay, that's cool. Fine by me. If they come after me further, okay, well, we'll fight back. But I don't have any interest in disassociating with anybody. Networking is networking. People are, don't take this the wrong way, but other creators are resources for you, and you're a resource for them. You have ideas. You have an audience. You have all of these things that are useful to someone, and they're similarly useful to you. So burning assets doesn't make sense unless you have a good reason to do it. So for me, I don't engage in that. And my policy is the same. So I let DUI guy know very politely that he's welcome to come on my show during the and report on the jury stuff. And he eventually did. He ran his own stream for a while, probably because of all the bullshit that was going on. But he did come on the show. James from court came on the show, had them on, had their reporting. Very appreciative of it. It was great. So that's how I do things. But all day you've had this specter over Legal Bites' channel, and people really, really angry with her to the tune of something like she's been gaining 6,000 subs a day and lost. I think she gained about 2,000 and then lost about 8,000. I don't know where it's at right now. I don't know that that's important. I mean, I guess I could look. It's pretty stable at that number. So she ended up at a net negative 6,000 from what I saw today. So a lot of people have reacted very, very negatively towards this. Didn't like it. Didn't sit well with them. And what didn't sit well? I mean, I think you guys know. I think you know what. Someone says, Jesus Christ, the specter over her channel, get a grip. Pig Riser, it's been all day. All day, people have been talking about this fucking thing. During the last day of the Johnny Depp trial, a big portion of the people watching amongst these 3 streams have been talking about this, and thousands of people have taken an adverse action to it. So yeah, I would say specter over the channel. There's a specter, not like specter like my Discord moderator. Specter, is he even a moderator? I don't even know. Not like specter from my Discord. That would be autism over the channel. That's not happening. This is something else. There's a funk and a fug about it. It sucked the energy out of a lot of people, and this like hashtag justice for DUI guy thing takes over. It's very distracting from everything, right? And the reason that this bothered so many people is because now we've created an in group and an out group, and we've nominated, for lack of a better word, an enforcement arm. This is the problem. Someone has been disciplined from a group of individual creators. How the fuck do you even discipline someone? Like what is that? And there was discussion about it, and some people had agreement over it and other people disagreed. But for lack of a better word, DUI guy was disciplined for reacting in court in the way that the entire gallery reacted. I cannot say that a juror looks at DUI guy going, oh, and is swayed by his facial expression over everyone around him making the same expression. So I'm not sure what the issue is. So with that said, now we've got this thing. So what do we say about it? Oh, and let's get to this one other thing that kind of plays into this, or that plays into this. Actually, I think very heavy. Let's see. Where was I'll explain this fucking tweet. Okay. So here's the LawTube top 10 2022 winners, right? Emily Baker, Nate Brody, David Freiheit, Viva Frey, Larry Foreman, DUI guy, Robert Jovia, is formerly Robert Gruler, Joe Neerman, Good Logic, Alita, Legal Bites, Rob, Law and Lumber, Nick Ricada, Ricada Law, Ian Runkle, Runkle the Bailey. Now, this thing came out a little while back. It did not receive a bunch of attention. I just ignored it. Someone, it's nice. Someone puts you on a list, think you're good at something, cool, whatever. But this is there. Here's the problem. Update. The LawTube Top 10 Award Committee. Come on now. Was recently made aware of an incident involving one of our 2022 winners. An incident? Members of the LawTube community reported. Who are these? Who are the members of the LawTube community? Is that the audience? Is that the streamers? Like, what even is that? That one of our winners made an outburst, underlined, while it's a link, I guess, while seated in the gallery of the Depp versus Heard trial. If the allegations are true, they may have violated the judge's order, reflecting poorly on the LawTube community. Fucking kill me immediately. Like, end it all. What is this shit? What is this shit? Out of an abundance of caution, the award committee has decided to revoke their award. However, the individual will remain eligible for future awards so long as they refrain from future outbursts. The good news is that we get to name Richard Hogue to the 2022 LawTube Top 10. Hey, yay. I'm sure he's happy about that. Real quick, to dispel anything, to dispel this immediately, I can basically guarantee you that Richard Hogue had nothing to do with this. All right? And I'm pretty sure that Legal Bites and I can't think of a single person on this list who would have anything to do with this paragraph at all. But it immediately makes Richard Hogue look bad, which is Richard and I get along. We have probably some pretty interesting disagreements, like politically and stuff like that. We get along great. I respect him. He respects me. Everything's fine. Wonderful. I don't think he wanted this at all. But look at what has happened now. Look at what has happened. Now there's this weird fucking thing. So here's back to my tweet. Please immediately remove me from this list. And people may misunderstand why. So I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why. It has nothing to do with the people in the LawTube group. I like all of them. I like them all. They're great. Couple, Runkle's in the chat, Robert Barnes in the chat. All these people are a collection of education, knowledge, and an individual charm that is valuable and interesting and worthy of, there's not one of them in the bunch that I, don't want to talk to from time to time. So it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with now I'm suddenly in a community that is deciding proper behavior of other community members and implementing multiple levels of punishment. Fuck off with that. I want nothing to do with that. And let's be really fucking clear on something here. Whatever DUI guy did in that courtroom pales in comparison to what I say every day and every single night on this show. It pales in comparison. He had a ooh face in court. It pales to what I do. So why am I not excluded from the group? This is the problem. Now we have a politics issue, a group politics issue, not a Republican Democrat. Now I've got a group politics issue. Why am I not kicked out? So I say to me, I kick me out because I won't be involved in kicking someone else out. I'm not their dad. I'm not their boss. I'm not their coworker. I'm me. And I know this is a roundabout way to tell you this story and to give you this advice. And I've seen people say, get on with it, whatever. You are you, and your brand is you. And what you do with that brand, this is about success on YouTube. Jeremy talked about getting into YouTube success. Grab opportunity when it comes, ride it hard. I think you can pretty much tell several people in the quote unquote LawTube community have done that. Everybody's seen great growth. I've gained like 73,000 subscribers. I think it's been phenomenal for everybody. We're going to talk about what happens next in a minute and why this is important, but it's been great. You grab the opportunity, you run with it, you ride it. It's perfect. You ride it like you called Amber Heard fat and grabbed on. So you do that. When you get past that stage and you're now a thing, there's going to be a bunch of people who want your success. I'm not talking about other creators here. I'm talking about multi-channel networks. I'm talking about business opportunities that will get emailed to you, sponsorship things that come in, just people asking to borrow you, your brand, your numbers, whatever it is, for a minute. And that's and you have to choose where all those things go. One of those things that will try to borrow from you is an online community. And in this case, this is an online community that involves money. And anybody watching along should realize that there's a ton of it at stake here, right? Like, I don't think it's any secret that the streams that people are doing are very profitable. It's a numbers game. If you have 70,000 people watching a stream, you're going to get a lot of people contributing by super chats just as a percentage. So there's a lot of money involved in that. And there's a lot of views to be had and spread around. There are people, Rob, Law and Lumber, he just created a channel. Last month? Is he over 100,000 subscribers? His first video is 500,000 views, I think. No, wait, it might be over 1 million views. Law and Lumber. He's his first video is 1.2 million views. He's 129,000 subscribers. Dude created his channel a month ago. His subsequent videos, 171,000, 137,000, 279,000, 154,000. Very quickly, he's making pretty decent cash on this side gig. It's great, by the way. That's a wonderful thing. But the potential to jump into this thing and pop up is clearly apparent to anybody who's looking. Okay. So these communities have this risk. God, it's going to sound so fucking awful. And I'm not putting this on anybody, of parasitism. Because there's symbiosis in collaboration. But in my opinion, there's parasitism in community, not from an individual to another individual, but from the community taking in from the individuals and then distributing out to the community. It sounds like something that I don't typically like, right? It sounds like something I'm not a big fan of. which is communism. It sounds like you're taking away, and it's weird because you're not actually like taking anything. There's no contribution of money, but it's this time, and brand that gets lent into a thing, and that can be fine. You might value that. It could be a nice leverage point for you. It could be a support network. It could be a growth network. It could be all sorts of things. But at the end of the day, it's still you being attached and into a thing. And once you're in a thing, there becomes this need to figure out who's not in the thing, who can't be in the thing. Because can everybody? Can any, like, for example, hypothetically speaking, can any lawyer start a YouTube channel and be in LawTube? Anybody? Should the answer be yes? More importantly, should the answer be no? What the hell even is it? If no, what's the criteria? What's the purity test? What's the no true YouTuber fallacy that we apply to it? How do you manage and regulate the thing? Because remember, no one made this. It's just happened. It was a happy accident of people getting together. But now suddenly it's a thing. Who takes out? What's the cut? How's it distributed? Who has rights? As for me and my stream, parroting a Bible verse, I will serve the grift. I will serve the grift. I like everybody I can think of who's in whatever it is called LawTube. I frankly don't even fucking know where that line is anymore. And I don't know who's in it. There's a bunch of new people who have come into and out of various streams. And I don't know. I'm not. And I'm going to state that right here. Which I don't know if that surprises people or not. I am not in LawTube. And I don't want to be in LawTube. Because I don't want anybody ever held responsible for my actions. Ever. And I'm not going to be responsible to answer for anyone else's. I worked my whole fucking life to not be beholden to somebody else, or at least as few people as possible. I'm beholden to a terms of service agreement on a couple websites, and that's too much. I'm not going to submit to any sort of community thing. That it just doesn't work for me. That's not saying other people can't do it. If other people want to do it, go build it. And I wish you much more success than I will ever have. But I will just be me doing my thing because I don't have time to do someone else's thing anymore. This is my official statement on this. I'm not in YouTube or in LawTube or LegalTube or whatever it is. I wish all of them far more success, and I pray that all of their decisions are far wiser than mine will ever be. I will always be happy with my modicum of wisdom keeping me where I belong, and that's with me. On that note, everybody from LawTube that I know of, whoever that is anymore, are as welcome today as they have been ever. And I value and appreciate any individual's contribution to my stream or invitation to theirs. So there you go. Now, and I'm almost done with this. I know this has been a long fucking monologue, on this, and I really do thank you for this because, look, a brief aside. I jumped into YouTube from my law firm when I thought this is a risk, but I can make this work as a full-time profession, right? I chose that avenue and I jumped in. I seriously considered, I had to talk to my wife about it. I had to come up with some level of plan. I've been behind on that plan ever since. But I had to do this. This is my job. This is my business. When you run a business, and many of you are business owners, I know because I've seen the chats. When you run a business, you know that you think about your business all the time. It's always on your mind. This has been on my mind all day. So I thank you guys for letting me speak to this. But I'm trying to couch it as hopefully helpful advice and consideration for the many of you that want to get into this. And I think this is applicable all over the place, but I'm putting this specifically in YouTube. Here's the final point of this. The final point of this is that I remember the Vic case. I remember the Rittenhouse case. I remember everything I've done that has created the Comicsgate spikes. I remember these spikes and I know what comes next. Johnny Depp ends tomorrow, effectively. And then there's a verdict jury day. And then there's some wrap-up videos and some remembrance streams and a bunch of circle jerks and a bunch of little party poppers or whatever, or whatever comes next. And then it's gone. It's over. A whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of interest in this Johnny Depp case, and I'm talking high percentages, are going to go back to all the work that they have to do in their regular lives. And there's not a Johnny Depp case going on for them to care about. And there's going to be more cases to cover for sure. There's more things. I'm going to cover Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland shooter, in his case, Judge Mommy. That'll be great. Lots of fun. But it's not going to be Johnny Depp. There's no way it's going to capture the nation like Johnny Depp has, because nothing has captured the nation like Johnny Depp has, as far as I can tell, since OJ. Now, there's some people who've been watching law longer than I have. Robert Barnes may have a different example, but I can't think of anything in my lifetime since OJ that has captured the attention of so many people, news outlets, and everything. There's just nothing fucking like it. Stuff that I thought would be like it isn't close. Rittenhouse isn't even close to Johnny Depp. So, now I know a bunch of you will be here. Don't get me wrong. Look, we've been doing this a long time. I know many of you will be here. You'll be watching other trial streams and daytime streams, but the overwhelming majority of people are going to go away. And when they do, all of this instant subscription stuff, all of these numbers, I watched it happen during Rittenhouse or in the post Rittenhouse era. Those subscribers don't translate into ongoing views when the issues resolve. And these big spikes in income are going to level off. And they're going to level off a lot lower than where they are. And things are going to get weird. Things are going to get really weird in a community. And here's my analogy for it. A bunch of people have showed up to COVID with a shitload of hand sanitizer. And everybody wanted hand sanitizer. Hand it out. You just hand it out. Me too. By the way, 16,000 people on a night stream is ridiculous, right? This is Johnny Depp. This is the product of that. during the day stream, 70, 80,000 people handing out hand sanitizer. When COVID's over, you want hand sanitizer right now? Everybody's got hand sanitizer. Who fucking cares? Right? It's gonna be over. The pandemic's gonna end. And there's a lot of people who are gonna be holding hand sanitizer and suddenly everybody around them is holding hand sanitizer and they're gonna go, oh, okay. And that a community that is created with a monetary interest involved, I really fear what's going to happen if at the height, at the pinnacle, at the heyday, we start creating rules about who gets in and who gets out. Because that community will probably be valuable to people. Because when you've only got hand sanitizer and you need to trade it to someone else for like, a chair or something, the community will have a chair. And if you're on your own, you might not find one. So all I'm saying to everybody out there is these online communities that involve money and business, you have to understand that your name in social media is you. Your brand is you. And however you run that is on you. For me, I will always run my brand as me. I don't have time or energy to be something else. I don't have time to perform. I don't have time to fake. And it's just me. And I don't want me to be looped into something else when it goes against what I think, feel, and believe. And I would encourage you people to look to the successful people in your lives, those who have built long-term success, people who have come up from something that is unexpected, and ask them if they're something else than who you know them to be. And I think you'll find the answer. So for all of you out there looking for advice on how to succeed in this community, not in this community, in this world of social media, I should say, I can't make you successful because you literally are lassoing a bolt of lightning. And if it collapses on it, you're in for a ride. And if it doesn't, you're in for a lot of work that I hope you have fun doing because you're not going to get rewarded for it. But if you do lasso that lightning and you make this into something, you need to navigate it with integrity to yourself. That's the most important thing. If you don't, you'll hate every second of it. And this is the business where you are not beholden to anybody else. But I hope you find this insight valuable and you can combine that with it, my commentary on today's situations. I'm the Ricada Law Show. And that's how it's going to be. We should take a moment to say, in the words of Razor Fist, right? Yeah. Fuck you, I was right. Fuck you, I was right.
I'm just going to second what Nick said.
Catch you next time, guys. Peace. Peace.
He drinks a fair bit, but you realize that it just helps get his noggin jogging along. With his glass by his side and his kids asleep tight, we'll hear some law-splaining tonight. With his microphone muted, we'll laugh at this boomer until he explains it's all part of the plan. Watch his face become redder as he becomes meta, raging at idiots from Twitterland. From the white shores of Maine to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we have now. Oh, his lady is fair, and she handles herself with the grace of one who has borne many children. As the wife of a lawman, she makes sure that he has the time and the place to provide for them there. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more of love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what we are now. Oh, the guests are all plentiful, from Dundee to Drexel. They bring their perspective and spice to the mix. But the reason we're here and the one that we cheer is the one who is showcasing us his career. So pour out an art bag, a bow, more of love rug. The spirits flow as the ones who get unemployed. So pour out a glass for the tea, post on Twitter as we hear Lost Planning tonight. From the white shores of Nan to the hills of Glenlivet, there's no one who explains the law better than Nick. So pour out a glass for the ones who have passed to make the law what